Yeah, it's definitely a bad time to be following any black metal YouTubers like WyattXM. After the second video bitching about liberals, it's kinda got old. Not to mention he enjoys shit like Argisland. Yeah, no coincidence there. Where have I heard that before? Knowledge and all my research to point out the true fascism that's going on right here on YouTube. Biggest example is WyattXM. Come on, everyone. He likes Pest Noir and Argisland for the music? Full fucking shit. Yeah, believe it or not, guys, a serious video here, and it's a discussion too, haven't done one of these in a while, of what I think of the relationship between metal and politics. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys have realized for the past couple of months here on my YouTube channel, I've been doing a lot of these kind of like satirical skits on the political ideologies and kind of intertwining them as if they were black metal bands, and trying my absolute best not to come off with a bias there and attacking all four as equally as I can. And I'll say this just as a little bit of a spoiler here. I've always looked at this whole thing since I started it as more of like a social experiment just to see how really all you guys would take them. Surprising enough for me, a lot of you guys just flat out enjoy it regardless of who I'm doing a satirical skit on, which encourages me to just keep on with this whole idea. And it's very flattering too that a lot of you guys realize that I take a lot of influence from J-Reg. I get comments all the time to whether it be I'm a cheap knockoff to basically the black metal version of J-Reg. It's really flattering to me that, you know, I'm being compared to right now one of my favorite YouTubers going right now. And if you don't know J-Reg, he's basically a satirical political channel that, you know, acts out all these political ideologies to the point that no one has figured out his own political ideology, and it's just absolutely hysterical to watch. So I recommend, if you're someone that can take a joke on their own views, definitely check them out. Now, how this ties together with the subject of metal is what I noticed is with the four political, you know, stances I did on the political compass, it seemed like a lot of you guys had a lot of negative things to say about the left-wing libertarian or the Antifa member, and so much to say that, oh, politics are now getting into metal, or, oh, why do you own an Antifa flag? I gotta admit, I find it quite humorous and kind of confusing at the same time that all of a sudden now people are complaining that, oh, politics are getting into metal, what does the world come to? And what's funny is politics and metal have been together from metal's inception. One example of a YouTube channel that brings this up is Loudwire, when they talked about the whole relationship between metal and politics. And believe it or not, guys, maybe for the first time ever, I actually agree with Loudwire on this, until we get more into this video and you kind of see why I'll bring them up later on. But yeah, metal has always been a relation with politics in some way, shape, or form. And that's because how I look at it is art is a form of expression. Music is a form of art. Metal is obviously a genre of music. So again, politics, metal kind of go hand in hand with each other. Retracing my step backs a little bit here, like I said previously, now a lot of people are complaining that politics are getting into metal, what's going on with this world. And I used to think that too back when I was, 18, thinking, I'm just in for the music, fuck politics, it's all about the music, this and that. Yet at the same time, I was like blasting Dying Fetus, Misery Index, and Napalm Death every day. Personally for me, how I look at it is when people get upset and use this mentality of metal's getting too political now, is when said artist or website is getting just so like preachy with their views, either left or right, or whatever you want to fucking call it, to the point that it's not even about the music or the art anymore. It's really about a personal agenda that these websites and artists have. Best example of this, and this is where we get back to Loudwire since they're now getting all more political now, is just look at their Facebook newsfeed and some of these statuses. It's like, what does this have to do with music and metal or rock at any point other than it just ties into your distaste for the politics that you just aren't a fan of. For example, you have Tom Petty's family rips Donald Trump over unauthorized use of I Won't Back Down. Or this one saying, Bruce Springsteen to Donald Trump, put on a fucking mask. Now, I'm not saying I'm defending Donald Trump here. I mean, by all means, fucking tear him a new asshole when it comes to music. I mean, for example, the best example too was that grindcore band called Anal Trump, which was fucking hysterical and had some really killer, just beefy, in-your-face grindcore death metal that was just overall really fun to listen to. But like I stated, it's like you're just so focused on this agenda now that you don't even care about metal, you don't even care about the art, you're just so focused on getting your political ideology just known in your face to the point that it's like, I did not want this, I didn't want to see this when I'm following a metal website outlet. And this is where I feel like, you know, I can understand why people kind of like roll their eyes at the fact that, oh, metal's getting political now. A reference I can use to kind of relate to this, even though it's on a small scale because I'm using my own video as a reference, is a few months back I made a video called Do Lyrics in Metal Really Matter? And this is talking about any type of, you know, lyrical themes, alright? I know I didn't straight up bring it up, but it also applies to political stuff as well. And surprisingly, to my eyes, when I looked at all the comments I was getting for this video, a good portion of you guys genuinely just said you don't care, to the point that, you know, it's really always been about music and the sound of it, and you really don't dive in all that much to the lyrical aspect about it, because, you know, I hate to sound like a basic bitch like I said in that video, but when I put on a metal record, regardless if it's on, you know, leaning to the left or the right or up or down, wherever, I really don't put it else on just other than to entertain me, and that's really it. Now, yes, with the Loudwire video that they posted, they talked about all these bands that were very politically charged, like Megadeth, and Sepultura, and even Metallica too. But really ask yourselves, guys, and just be honest here, how many times do you talk with your friends about these bands and you go, oh man, that Megadeth song just really, you know, really got my views to be really changed. Like, I've never heard someone say, you know, man, when I was listening to Holy Wars, my whole aspect about the world and politics were just changed right there. Like, yes, they have their political message within these songs, but it's like so many people are just so mesmerized by the song writing and everything else that it's just like, for me, in my own personal experience, I rarely ever talk about lyrics with metal, and that applies with the political aspects of metal as well. I understand though that maybe people aren't really bringing up these political charged topics about those songs from Megadeth and Metallica and Sepultura because they're not really all that radical, and usually in my personal experience it seems like I usually get called out by it when I talk about these very, you know, radical types of bands. For example, you know, when I bring up either Argislint or Pest Noir, a lot of people think, oh, why are you supporting these fascist bands, Wyatt? Oh my god, what's wrong with you? And usually that makes, you know, a lot of people that lean to the right look at leftists as they're just crybabies and wimps and stuff like that. And another example too is in my Dragged Into Sunlight versus Prosthetic Records video. I had a 2-second joke talking about Neckbeard Death Camp that Prosthetic Records basically, you know, is no stranger to making mistakes when they signed Neckbeard Death Camp. A 2-second joke, and Dragged Into Sunlight actually shared that video, and I saw the comments, and half of them were about the fact that I made a joke about Neckbeard Death Camp. A 2-second joke. And this is where, again, like I stated, right-wingers kind of looked at left-wingers as crybabies. Yet, at the same time, what's funny now is right-wingers, you aren't really, you know, all that innocent either about this, and you're just as guilty too. Because the past 2 years, I stopped wearing it, I used to wear this clipping hat. And you know how many times I was called being like a socialist and a commie and stuff like that, and I was just, you know, a dirty liberal? Because as awesome as clipping is, and as much as I enjoy their music, Davi Diggs makes it very obvious where he sides with his politics. And, you know, they have all these songs about how police are looked at as monsters, and the fact that they have songs about Donald Trump a lot. You know, there was this one song called Fat Fingers they did, which is actually a pretty funny and damn good song, along with their latest single that has a lot to do with police brutality and just anarchism and stuff like that. And so many people, I remember getting comments for, would be like, you gotta take off that hat right now, you liberal scum. No lie, would get it all the time. And another example, too, is all the times I would make fun of either Der Pooper or Interditarian. A lot of people would really think that I'm just this hard left-leaning person, which that's not the case. I just think these really strong right-leaning bands suck because they make shitty fucking music. Basically, in short, what I'm saying is, no matter how apolitical I try to be on YouTube and just talk about the music and just comment on the overall art regardless of their political views, I've been attacked by both sides, alright? And I guess that's what's given me the inspiration to do these political skits now on my channel, because it's just kind of fun to, you know, basically hit each ideology in the kneecaps and see who takes the hit the hardest right now. And it's a lot of fun. And for me personally, you know I'm going to sound crazy saying this, but the whole point of those videos is not only to get a cheap laugh, but also really, honestly, it's meant to piss some of you guys off. Because if you can't even laugh at your own political view with a satirical metal skit, it's like, are you even a person anymore? Did you just really sacrifice all of your independent thought because you look at your political view now just so seriously that you can't even joke about it? For the last bit I want to say with this video of the whole relationship between metal and politics, you know, the more often than not I'm seeing this, that, you know, you can be political as much as you want. I'm all for hearing it. And, you know, I see, you know, bands, outlets, websites, and even these metal YouTubers become more political on YouTube and social media and stuff like that, which, again, is totally fine. What I really, truly don't understand, though, and I laugh at it time and time again, regardless of where you are or where you stand on the political compass or scale, is when you become political on this thing called the World Wide Web. How is it that these people become so shocked and surprised that the opposing side and the opposing view is going to come at them and disagree with them, and they act like as if the world's ending and crumbling around them? If you're going to be political on social media and not even be prepared for the opposing side to bring in their views and disagree with you, then what's even the fucking point of it, in my personal view, okay? Because all you're doing is basically you're impressing yourself and the people that already had your views from the start. You're not really helping or changing anything. And if you can't even challenge your own views, then you don't have any independent thought anymore. And, you know, again, I just can't emphasize it enough. If you're going to be political on any aspect revolving metal, just expect it. And if you can't, I really don't see the point of even starting or opening up your keyboard to create a sentence at all. And that's all I have to say for this topic between the relationship of these two. Really curious to know if you guys agree or disagree with me with this, because I'm all open for discussion on this, and I'm all open for challenging my own views, whether or not you agree with them or not. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments. But regardless, guys, like always, make sure you guys drink plenty of water regardless where you are on the political scale, because it's important for all of us. Oh, and